I will start out as I normally do. If you have a cell phone, please put it on vibrate. If you are vibrated and you feel necessary to talk to the person who vibrated you, please, the exits to the left, please go out and have that conversation. We will not be taking any testimony today. All testimony, all the bills that are on this list, we have already taken testimony on, and testimony is closed out. Secondly, the two casino bills, 16, they're going to be held. 1661 and 1774 are going to be held. We will be adding, and I think there'll be a motion for reconsideration of 3101, which are the billboards, and we're going to do the two budget bills. But I think right now we should let's get rid of the other bills if we can. We have 1710, which is delete certain nursing home payments requirements under Nursing Home Quality of Care Improvement Fund Act. As a Kenny, a self bill, and as I understand, Senator Kenny, you want to talk about your bill? Go ahead, talk about your bill. This is the Nursing Home Care Improvement Fund Act.
Yes. Well, essentially, this proposal would enable the state of New Jersey to get a matching grant from the United States government for nursing homes. There would be an assessment on nursing homes, 6%, and this assessment then would be matched by the United States government, which would then provide a pool of money to reimburse the nursing homes for the assessment, and at the same time then give nursing homes monies to improve the quality of care for their patients and their employees as well. So it's a bill that would, to a large degree, benefit the vast majority of nursing homes in our state. There is a printout as to how the nursing homes would do throughout the various legislative districts. There are some losers here, and the losers are nursing homes that are not Medicaid. And the Medicaid nursing homes do very, very well. But there are some losers, and I would hope that we could address them in a separate piece of legislation in the future. But to do otherwise would render us not eligible for the federal matching grant, because it's all about Medicaid. And if we try to make everybody a winner, we would not get the matching grant. And that's the problem. So I'm asking that we move the bill through as is, unamended, and then try to address the so-called non-Medicaid nursing homes in another fashion. Thank you.
Just Senator Bucco first, and then Senator Kane.
Might say, sorry, Mr. Chairman, that this bill is co-sponsored by Senator herself. It has bipartisan support. It passed through the Assembly unanimously in their Budget Committee.
Let me say that we tried to do something like this last year. It is very, very clear that you cannot have in this bill some way of making everyone whole without violating the federal law, because the federal law match is based on doing Medicaid. So in essence, this one basically takes all that out now and makes sure that we do it sort of like other states who've gotten a reimbursement, and makes it clean. So. Senator Bucco, followed by Senator Keynes and Senator Barr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the sponsor, Senator Kenny. The matching grant is predicated on receiving the assessment, correct? What happens if we don't get the matching grant? What happens to the assessment? Or we don't charge the assessment until you get the... How does that work? I'm a little confused on that.
I have to ask staff to answer that specific question. I have to rely on staff for that question.
The state would have to apply for federal approval for the waiver before the assessment could be imposed upon the nursing homes. So
Okay.
at that point, then the reimbursement would take place.
And then you'd put the assessment through. Okay. That's what I was concerned about. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
For that reason, I mean, I think your further question is, we didn't score it in the budget at all because of that. I mean, so because we didn't want to have an assessment charge without having approval from the federal government.
Senator Kenny said there was a printout. I didn't see it in my packet. Do we have a printout of?
One.
Your staff has a copy of it, or? Oh, well, one of our staffs has it. Would you please make sure that they get a copy of the printout that we have on that? George, you want to get somebody to get it? We'll get it for you. Senator Kane. Same bill that passed the Assembly earlier today. Senator Barr.
I guess mine is for clarification. I think I heard you loud and clear, but I'm a little disappointed that the continuing care facilities were not eliminated from this, that in fact that if the waiver is granted, they will in fact pay a considerable amount of money. Is that correct?
Yes, because they're largely not Medicaid. It's all, the
Right.
reimbursement's all based on
Yeah,
Medicaid.
I understand that, but
Yeah, that's true.
the continuing care in other states have been set aside and not been a part of this, and I was hopeful that we would do the same thing here in the state of New Jersey, because it will impact significantly on how much people are charged to go into a continuing care facility.
Right.
And I'm sorry to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that I can support that, because in my particular area, I have a lot of continuing care facilities that are private pay.
You know, as the chairman stated, we've been advised that to do other than what we're doing here would render us ineligible for the federal match.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, but I don't necessarily like it.
Any further questions? Can I have a motion? Motion by Kenny, second by,
I'm sorry, I do have one more.
Surely, Senator.
When George responded to Senator Bucco, he said that you would apply for the waiver before you would start collecting. I would want to know I thought was if when we received the waiver, you would start the assessment, but it's only if you file for it.
Let me clarify in case there was some misunderstanding. We would apply for the waiver. If we grant the waiver, that's when we do the assessment.
Thank you.
And that's exactly why we didn't score any of these dollars into the budget, so you would not collect the tax prior to finding out whether in fact you got the waiver. Any further on readiness? Senator Kenny, and it's second by Senator James. Roll call.
On the motion to release S-1710 as referred to committee, Senator Bryant?
Yes.
Senator James? Yes. Senator Sweeney? Yes. Senator Cadiglio? Yes. Senator Doria? Yes. Senator Buono? Senator Sarlo? Yes. Senator Turner? Yes. Senator Kenny? Yes. Senator Kane? Senator Bark? Senator Kavanaugh? Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Senator Kavanaugh is absent today.
Continuation meeting, but I made it very clear to all members, as long as you must report in that day. And I'm applying the rule across the board to everyone. If you report in and you're here, these are very important votes on the budget. My normal rule would be that you had to, and since this is a continuation meeting, I'm going to make an exception to the rule, and we'll allow Senator Kavanaugh to be voted today because it is a continuation meeting. But I'm not sure that in the future we will do it.
Not a precedent.
Not a precedent. That's it. No, what did Senator Kavanaugh do? Yes.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay. You're welcome.
Senator Bucco. Yes. Senator Lance. Senator Littell.
We have 14 in favor and 1 opposed. The bill passes out of committee. I'm going to take a motion by Senator James for reconsideration of S 3101, which is the billboards. Well, 1626 has been. It's 3101 because it made it identical to the one in the assembly. So I want to make sure you voted on the bill. So you make that motion, Senator James, to reconsider?
Yes, Mr. President, motion to reconsider.
Second by Senator Caliglio. All in favor of reconsideration, unless you want me to call a recall. Want me to call it one by one? Yeah, just call it. That's right. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't need to, this is a new bill being referred to committee by Senator President. It's 3101. It's identical to 1602 except for technical amendments that we passed before, and that's 1626, which was the billboard. It's identical except for technical amendments that we did not pass out of committee that was placed in the Senate on second reading. The President has sent this bill back. Senator James has asked for us to consider this bill. He has an amendment, and Senator James, you want to read the amendment for everybody to understand what the amendment is?
Mr. President, thank you. We all know that in the last year, we've made the billboard industry a cash cow in balancing our budget. And we had imposed a tax on their revenue in our 2004 budget. We've also more recently added that they will have a new tax structure for the next 3 years, 6% in 2005, 6% in 2006, and 4% in 2007. In addition to that, we've also added that they will pay a tax on the billboard that they construct in our various municipalities, creating that as property. The industry has no problem with that. However, it has been suggested and encouraged by some that the municipalities will also include the billboard and the profits the billboard make as part of the tax structure. This would bring about double jeopardy. We would be taxing their gross revenue at 6%, 6%, and 4%. Now the local municipality would tax the billboard and say you've made this amount of money on the billboard and we want a percent of that. It's double jeopardy. So in order to make sure that the billboards will be taxed as a mortar and brick issue, the steel, the concrete that goes into it, the labor that goes into it, it becomes a building, just as we assess property taxes. I've inserted 2 words in the document which is part of 1626 and the companion assembly bill as stated by our president, 3108, I believe. 3101, thank you, Mr. President. So, by inserting just 2 words in the current bill, special purpose, the local municipality would have to tax the billboard for mortar, for steel, for brick, for the cost of construction, and the size of the billboard, which is fair. But they would not be able to say this structure also accounts for a revenue of $500,000 a year, therefore we will take a percentage of that as well. The 2 words which I have underlined there, special purpose real estate, means it can only be taxed for the actual construction of the billboard itself. Now, I've had some colleagues say, well, Mayor James, you're the mayor of the largest city of New Jersey. Wouldn't you love to have this cash cow to be able to dip into the revenues of the billboard industry? And my response has been the same. While we would love more revenue, we are about fairness. While we would love more revenue, we do not believe in double jeopardy. That's a TV program, not for real life and not for this industry. So we should not be about taxing any industry utilizing the philosophy double jeopardy. We will take 6%, and 4% out of your gross receipts, and now the local municipality not only can tax your billboard, but use that same gross receipt as an added income for the local municipality. That is punitive, it's wrong, it's unfair, and the balance of our budget should not be with those words, punitive. It should not be about being unfair. It should not be about double jeopardy. So I would hope that my colleagues on this committee, who all look like men and women of fair status, will join me in supporting this amendment of those two words, which will limit the taxation to the actual cost and construction of billboards, but not go a second time into their gross receipts. Thank you, Mr. President.
You move the amendment, Senator James. I'll second the amendment, but I should say to my colleagues and all here, the sponsor of the bill, Mr. Madden, opposes having those amendments done. But in due respect to our colleague who wanted to make sure he did not have this opportunity when the bill came up, I wanted him the opportunity to express as to his feelings on it and his amendment. But we'll take a roll call now.
Mr. President,
Chairman.
I have the, what I gave them out of respect was my notes. Now they can have the official document. Could we just take a second so they can have this
Surely.
document?
Senator, I'm going to listen to Senator Bucco while Senator King after that. Senator Bucco, then Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you, Mr. Chairman. So the taxation will still be a double taxation. The municipality will be able to collect the tax on the physical structure of the billboard, correct?
Senator, yes. The local municipality will still have the ability to tax the billboard as property, yes, but not go into gross receipts attached to that
the
billboard.
state will do.
The
state will do it on gross receipts.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So, thank you.
Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and through you, if I may ask a question of the honorable senator from Newark. So what you're saying here is that the intent of these two words is put in legislative language. What I thought the understanding of this committee was, through the experts in the administration, originally. So this is just clarifying what you had asked of the, was the administrative understanding of the amendment, originally. And this is just in your intent, this is to clarify the bricks and mortar versus the broader potential tax implications. But isn't this the exact same question that both you and I asked? This is clarifying exactly what you and I asked the experts, which is why this is, I see, a wholly appropriate amendment, and will support your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator King. And any other questions? We have a motion second. Roll call on Senator James's amendment. On the amendment only.
Motion to amend. Senator Bryant. No. Senator James.
Yes.
Senator Sweeney. No. Senator Coniglio. No. Senator Doria. No. Senator Buono. Senator Sarlo. No. Senator Turner. Senator Kenny.
No.
We noticed.
Senator Kenny.
Yes. Senator Kane. That's a yes. Senator Bart. Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Bucco. Senator Lance? Yes. Senator Littell?
All right, there's 8 noes, 7 yeses. The amendment fails. We're now going to consider S3101.
What was the vote, Mr. President?
8 to 7.
8 to 7.
It fails. Can I have a motion to move the bill out of committee? Moved and second. Roll call.
On Senate 3101 as referred, Senator Bryant?
Yes.
Senator James? Senator Sweeney? Yes. Senator Coniglio? Yes. Senator Doria? Yes. Senator Buono? Senator Sarlo? Senator Turner?
Senator Turner? Yes. Sit down.
Senator Kenny? Senator Kane? Senator Bark? Senator Kavanaugh? No. Senator Bucco? Senator Lance? Senator Littell?
9 to 6, the bill moves out of committee. We're now at that time of year. We've all been waiting for and anticipating, and with such great joy. After a great number of public hearings and discussions, S204 and S205, one makes supplemental appropriations for state fiscal year 203 and 204, and the other is appropriation state and federal funds for the state budget of fiscal year 204-205. The reason I call them together for discussion among the committee so that we can discuss either one, and then we'll end up voting on them separately, so any comments that you may have, please feel free. Let me just sort of set the stage, and we're going to end up having very eloquent speeches probably tomorrow, so I'm going to try to make this very short. As we see this budget is that we try to protect all the interests that this state has in terms of education, whether it be K through 12, whether it be higher education, whether it be human services, the kids who and DIFAS programs, whether it be providing more tax relief under the FAIR program, whether it be in our health and human services areas. We try to touch those lives that needed the help from government. We try to protect business in the sense that we provided more emphasis in terms of having programs to secure businesses, and at the same time we made sure that we did not affect the local property taxpayers. So that in a nutshell, without going into great detail, is sort of the nutshell of the budget on this side. But I assume there are folks on that would like to have something to say about the budget, and the only thing I would caution all of us, but you are welcome to say as much as you want. I doubt that we'll be changing any minds this afternoon, and probably tomorrow when we get on the floor, that's when we'll probably have the more and larger debate. But feel free to take as much time to talk about either bill, and you can mix them because they're both revenue bills. So at this time, who would like to speak on either of the two bills, 204 or 205?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Before we do that, I just want to recognize the outstanding job you did during this whole cycle. It's a difficult job being chairman of this committee, and I think you have made yourself immersed in all of the bills. I'm truly impressive, and you've made yourself available to the Republicans, senators. You've shown a lot of respect to all the members, and I just want to recognize that. I'll say that tomorrow on the floor, but yeah, you should be recognized for a job very well done.
Thank you, Senator Kennedy. Let me say, whatever reflection I have on this committee is really by the committee members. I've really enjoyed on both sides of the aisle the respect we gave each other as senators, the thoroughness in which we've asked questions, and the dignity in which we actually demonstrated how we can disagree on many things, but still be agreeable in terms of how we work as senators, and I think it adds dignity and respect to our body. And for that, I'm thankful for everyone here, and let us proceed. Senator Kane? Does everybody on the other side of the aisle want to at least have something to say? No? Okay, Senator Kane. I know a lot of folks on our side does not. Senator Lance wants to speak. Senator Kane or Senator Lance first? Senator Lance. Senator Lance. Does Senator Mattel want to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I congratulate you as well on your excellent job as chair of this committee, which is among the most difficult assignments in the legislature. And you have treated the Republican minority with fairness and with dignity, and I thank you for that. And it's our pleasure to serve with every member of the committee. We are pleased that we have been joined recently by Senator Doria, and of course we mourn the loss of Senator Cunningham, who was a distinguished member of this committee. Regarding the budget, and I will have more to say about the budget on the floor tomorrow, but for this afternoon, as the budget bill comes out of the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee, Mr. Chairman, we will be opposing the bill for several major reasons. The spending increase in this budget is roughly $4 billion, or 17%, over the fiscal year 2004 budget. Although we have not reviewed every portion thoroughly, we believe that the budget contains Christmas tree items of roughly $311 million. And of course we will review that over the course of the next day. The budget levies an additional $2 billion in tax and various fee increases on the people of New Jersey. And then, most important of all, from my perspective, the budget will borrow $1.9 billion in deficit bonds that could be issued for as long as 40 years for general operating purposes. These are significant criticisms from the perspective of the Republican minority, and we respectfully will not be voting for the budget document today. We recognize that there are many good components in the document regarding the Division of Youth and Family Services, for example, and we favor the governor's reform in that area, other provisions as well, but we are vigorously opposed to the dramatic increase of 17%, and we are vigorously opposed to the deficit nature of this budget, which we believe is not constitutional because of the almost $2 billion in bonding for general operating expenses. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Lance. Let me just say before I get to Senator King, just so we put some perspective on it, the $4 billion, $1 billion of it happens to be tax relief money that, as we said, we're not spending in the budget, but we would send back to taxpayers. The other $1 billion happens to be money we lost from the federal government. The federal government did not keep giving money back to us as it reconstructs other nations. It has not decided to help reconstruct our states. So in essence, at least half of that, half of it being going to taxpayers, and the other half being money that we have now missed and had to replace by the federal government. So I want to make sure that that's in perspective as we go forward. Senator Kane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I do want to recognize, along with Senator Lance and Senator Kenney, your willingness to work with us, the members of the minority, and to allow us the latitude to ask the questions while on your watch. And that is, I know we had many questions throughout the months, and I do want to thank you for your willingness and your latitude in that regard. I know how difficult you have had it throughout these several months, so thank you. I, too, will be opposing this budget for a variety of reasons. Many are listed by Senator Lance, many because of the unsustainable nature of the both the bonding proposal and exorbitant increase in this year's budget. But I would also like to urge this committee, as you know, many of us received the actual budget document only within the last hour or two. I urge members of this committee, majority and minority, to advocate for the full sunshine openness in this process, so we're not voting on this budget at 12:01 in the morning, but that the public and the press and members of the full Senate have the ability to fully read and understand this budget, so I urge that we continue session either Friday or Monday so that that full examination, which is the people's business, can be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Keenan. Let me address that issue so you understand what I will be asking the Senate Majority Leader to do. I agree with you that we ought to be hearing this during the sunshine hours. He will be asking the opposite side of the hour for an emergency. Failure to do that, then we might be hearing it in the darkness for the failure that we will not give that emergency, but that will be a decision you will make between now and tomorrow, and if that's the pleasure of the Majority Leader, I will be requesting that he ask for that so that we can discuss it at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you very much.
If I may, sir, to come
Okay.
to respond, but thank you. I think the purpose of what is listed in the Constitution is for expanded review of this document. One of my concerns is that the truncated review and vote within the next 24 hours versus within the next 24, or excuse me, within the next 48 or even on Monday is appropriate. As you know, the budget document is not due through the Constitution until July 1, and I would just urge that that rather than grant an emergency, that we are able to expand the process in the appropriate fashion so that all of the citizens of this state, or at least those so interested, would have the opportunity to review this document as well as the other members of the legislature. But thank you for your consideration of that.
Thank you, Senator Kane. I'm sure with your adept staff that ran this committee for 10 years and participated, they will be able to review this document in no time. Rosemary is very good at that. She probably has a few of them for us already. Anyone else like to be heard on? Senator Littell, Vice Chairman for the Republicans.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's not what you said here today, it's what didn't come out. I think this budget is nickel and diming the public to death, and it certainly seems to me that we could have found some major revenue to soften the blow in some of the taxes that this bill purports to implement. I think you need to answer to the public as to why you haven't implemented off-track betting, which was approved by the voters in 2001. It bring in multi-millions of dollars, and nobody makes a move on it. But we can put a $1 tax on tires and 60 cents on cigarettes. It doesn't make any sense. You're nickel and diming them to death. There's other things that could be done. We could hire some retired state troopers and put them in the office and take the troopers that are active and put them out on the field, enforce the laws on the highway, and in particular the Easy Pass. I'm told there are millions of dollars lost on Easy Pass by people that scam the system every day. And we need to be out there enforcing the laws that we have. There are certainly things that we all know about that need to be looked at, and I would admonish you all to include some of these programs. We did a study about 6 years ago to implement the HINT program. The HINT program would save $500 to $700 million a year, and maybe as much as $1 billion. It would make much better recording between insurance companies and hospitals and doctors and the patients. Nobody's done anything with it yet. We start jobs and never finish them. We have a capital budget and planning commission, and they make recommendations and we never implement them. I think there's a lot of things that could be done with this budget. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Littell. Seeing no other member, can we have a motion to move the budget? Moved and second. Moved by Sweeney, second by Clavell. The 04, we're going to do 04 first, the supplemental, then we'll go to the budget. That's the motion on 04, the S2004. Roll call.
On the supplemental as referred, Senator Bryant.
Yes.
Senator James. Senator Sweeney. Senator Coniglio. Senator Doria. Senator Buono. Senator Sarlo. Senator Turner. Senator Kenny. Senator Kane. Senator Bark. Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Bucco. Senator Lance. Senator Littell.
There are 9 in favor, 6 opposed. The bill moves out of committee. Now we have, is there a motion for S-2005, the state budget? Senator Doria moves it. Senator Bono seconds. Roll call.
Budget bill is referred. Senator Bryant.
Yes.
Senator James. Senator Sweeney. Senator Coniglio. Senator Doria. Senator Buono. Senator Sarlo. Thank you, Senator. Senator Turner. Senator Kenny. Senator Kane. Senator Bark. Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Bucco. Senator Lance. Senator Littell.
9 in favor, 6 opposed. The bill moves out of committee. We stand adjourned. Please stay and sign all the sheets so that we can have them properly signed.